second part of the review of Thunder Force 3. We'll go into the levels here a bit. And although this game is not very long, a lot of care was put into the level design. There's 5 primary levels, and at the beginning of each level they tell you what it is, what the end boss is going to be, and what its weak point is. And it's pretty stereotypical. You have your forest level, your underwater level, your ice level, your lava level. And here we start off in the jungle level. And look at the great detail in the background. We've got nice parallax scrolling, there's vines, and then there's some sort of volcanoes and mountains in the distance there. And even though today's games are far more complex and far more advanced than this, I think there's just something special about looking at the care that they put into these fairly simple levels. Just some nice touches in the background with the purple clouds. I like that. Gorgon is one of the most unique levels that we see in this game and in any Sega Genesis game, really. I'm not sure what technique they were using in the background, but the movement of the fire is just fascinating. And especially when this game came out, and just to see this waving lava effect in the background, it was really a nice touch. And again, something that adds to the character of Thunder Force 3. This is Siren, probably the least inspired level, but with the best music. Music in this game is also something that deserves to be noticed. And there I'm picking up the extra life, if you saw that, in a tough spot there where the water current's trying to push you up, but you actually have to fly down but not get smashed into the rocks. Another nice touch they put into this game. This is Hades. Not exactly one of my favorite levels in this game either, but I love the end boss, which is the G-Lobster. This level requires some memorization because the huge rock formations move up and down, and you can get caught in between them. At one point in the middle of the game here, the screen actually starts moving backwards. I'm not aware if there were any other games at the time doing this, but to me that says something special about Thunder Force 3, that they were able to come up with that, and they put it into a nice spot in the game. It wasn't overused. In fact, I think that's one of only two or three places in the entire game they even use that technique. And here you see, if you're just a hair off with your spaceship, that must be one very responsive spaceship, you will be crushed in the moving rock formations. And we have the Last of the Mohican style waterfall in the background, adding some romance to the level. And this is Ellis. I make pretty short work of this level when I've got the things that spin around you and amplify your weapons. I don't actually remember what the plot of this game is, and I don't really care. All I know is that when you get near the end, you have to blow up a big spaceship, and that, of course, makes for a great video game. So here we're getting into the end. You have to fly around their spaceship and then eventually go inside of it and wreck. But they're sending wave after wave of pilots or aliens or whatever they are at me, only to be blown up and sent to their death by my massive hunter shot I have here. So those you figure those pilots probably had a life. Maybe they had a wife or kids or something. They had to be called to duty. Perhaps they were just eating lunch, and then all of a sudden the sirens went off, so they had to run downstairs, get in their spaceship, expecting to do battle against some obviously inferior enemy. Instead, they were met by me and my Thunder Force 3 spaceship and killed before they even got onto the screen. You kind of want to feel bad for them. Using multiple laser cannons, which is your strongest weapon in the game, of course. Fairly stereotypical these days. The laser packs the most punch, and made short work of that. And now I am inside of the base. Look at the background again. You can see deep into the bowels of the ship. You got some nice movement, nice colors in the background, really adding to this level design. And what kind of upsets me these days is, given the technology of the new systems like the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, that this type of game is just not being released. And they could do such an amazing job today making a game like this. Instead of taking you 20 minutes to win the game, it would take you 4 hours. With massive amounts of detail in the levels. And that's what I'd like to see from the game companies these days, but I don't know that I'm exactly their target market anymore. This is one of the hardest end bosses ever. At least I think so. I don't know. This is a tough one. Kind of reminds me of one of the end bosses in Blaster Master, but this is harder. So I died several times actually before I could kill this guy. I'm a little rusty. I think one of the things you don't want to do is die and lose all your weapons right before you get in to fight them. After you beat that guy, who's sort of like, the gatekeeper right there, then you get into the core. And we have electrical things in the background and blinking lights, and of course all that means that it's futuristic and you're in space. This guy actually isn't too hard. It took me a moment to remember how to fight him, but got through him without too much difficulty. And then you come up to the very end bad guy, and this is a tough boss. This is again, it took me 1 or 2 lives before I remembered how to beat him, and there I just ducked out of the way, almost lost, but in the end I did destroy him and send him packing, and that wins the game. Now the ending of Thunder Force 3 is a bit of a letdown. It's not terribly complex. It's got some nice music. Because again, the music in this game is something that's memorable. I don't know that the music is as good as Musha, which of course I'm getting to in a future review here very shortly, but it gives you your mission bonuses. Your spaceship flies to safety, and then a nice nod to Alien. The thing blows up in the distance and whites your screen out. And a peaceful time came soon. It might be for a short time. Human beings, think about what you have done. After the important mission was completed, Styx turned over his airframe to the base fellows waiting for them. And I saw Styx in concert this past summer as they opened for Def Leppard. Gene and Shelley, you might aware of the real meaning of true peace, and I think there's a typo there. But we get the idea here. Apparently, the band Styx had an enormous space station and rocked the galaxy, giving us the meaning of true peace. Here you land your spaceship. Regrettably, you can't fly around and destroy this thing. At the end here, they give you some screens just showing you and your teammate, or your sister or girlfriend, I have no idea what their relation is. And they're in the spaceship together. We get to see the credits of all the very talented people that produced and programmed this game. I'm just going to assume that most of these people are from Japan. Apparently Takashi needs a big handshake for his level design because it really is fantastic and it's very memorable. About 20 years after this game was released. This game came out in about 1989 or 1990. And music compose. Another grammatical error. So here we have some very happy people. There's you and your red-headed teammate, who apparently is being kissed on the cheek with that creepy guy with the beard and goggles. Now, the Thunder Force series does return with Thunder Force 4 for the Sega Genesis, referred to as Lightning Force. I have that game, and that's a good game. Although I think Thunder Force 3 is better. We will be bringing out Thunder Force 4 Lightning Force here in the future. And of course, the prequel to this was Thunder Force 2, also for the Sega Genesis. Thunder Force 2 is fantastic. A good bit different than Thunder Force 2 is fantastic, and it's a good bit different than Thunder Force 3. So we will also be getting into Thunder Force 2, and going into the future again, we have Thunder Force 5, which came out on the Sony PlayStation 1. And Thunder Force 5 is quite enjoyable, and we will also be covering Thunder Force 5 in Classic Game Room HD. Because if it's one thing that you can be sure of in Classic Game Room HD, it's that I love Atari, I love the Sega Genesis, and I love any game that involves spaceships blowing shit up. Or the side-scrolling or vertical-scrolling shooter genres, which are always fun and always entertaining. This is the end, and Classic Game Room HD will return. So go buy this game, it's awesome.